Yo guys, how's it going? My name's Umzi and welcome back to a brand new video. This time around we're updating the tier list. Last time we went over the patch 0.2.0, now we're going over 0.3.0. This patch included quite a lot of different things. First of all, the optimization has changed completely. They've increased foliage for the plants and all the other stuff. They've increased the animation, so hero pivoting, hero sliding. They've increased the environment, so they've reworked both the sides marble. They've increased the ambiency. They've literally changed everything almost, and it looks so much better in my opinion. First I want to go over the fact that this patch has genuinely changed the looks of the game so much, and if you can run it on the best quality, it honestly looks beautiful. And other than that, genuinely going over the actual game changes. First thing I want to say is the jungle has changed. The jungle minion camps, they've changed completely. And this is what's basically happened. So the blue and the red buff no longer give you any white minions alongside them. However, the buffs themselves have been increased health-wise and damage-wise. So you only have to kill them, but they are harder to kill. The normal white camps, they have been changed so that 3 white minions spawn at the start, and after you kill them, I think 2 minutes after you kill them, 3 more spawn or something along those lines. I'm still not completely familiar with the jungle, but I know that they all 3 spawn at the start and they don't spawn any more until you've killed them, which is weird, but it's something to get used to. The XP that you receive within the jungle has increased a lot. So you're going to be pretty much easy. It's so much easier to level up. I've played a few games and leveling up is 10 times easier, honestly. But the gold that you receive from those said minions, they have decreased. So it's actually really hard to get gold now, which is surprising. But I think they might increase the gold in the next patch because it is quite a small amount. But okay, so talking about the people and the heroes specifically. Going over the changes that I would make to this tier list. So we have Boris. Boris was originally pretty broken, but what they've done to him is they've first of all reduced his normal movement speed by I think 10. They've changed his Q so that his Q decreases by quite a lot, by around 15% each stage, up to around 20% by endgame. And his bonus has also been reduced. So his E has become less of a threat, so they've reduced the duration that the unstoppable lasts by around 0.8 seconds by endgame. Before that, it's pretty much the same. But yeah, so overall, in my opinion, Boris has been nerfed. And maybe not to the ground, so I would say that if you're a decent Boris player, you could still somewhat carry the game. But just because of his kit is honestly just really good. So in my opinion, maybe Boris would be not broken but meta, or even a good pick, one of the two. But in my opinion, if you're a good Boris player, you can pretty much easily still carry a team. Sevrog also has been nerfed quite heavily. Sevrog's Colossal Blow, his R, has been decreased to has been increased. The cooldown of that has been increased by 15 seconds at base level. At level 2 has been increased by 5 seconds. But one good thing is that by level 3, so around level 16 I believe, when you can upgrade the R for the 3rd time, it actually is less of a cooldown than when it was before the patch. They've reduced it to 35 seconds. In addition to that, his passive has the passive stacks that he gains. The health has decreased from 1.5 to 1. So the health increase that he gets from those are very it's a pretty big difference. Then they've also reduced the subjugate slow. So at the start I thought this was the root duration, but in addition it's actually the slow duration. So after you've rooted someone in his subjugate, basically what happens is when someone leaves the subjugate, they're still slowed for 2.5 seconds. However, they've decreased the slow from 2.5 to about 1.5. Now, the bonus health that you gain from his passive stacks has actually increased, which is weird, but they've actually buffed that. So they've buffed it by quite a lot. At level 1 it's 20% buff, at level 2 30%, at level 3 it's 50%, and at level 4 it's actually around 75. So if anything, I still think he's not broken anymore, but I'd say he's the top of not broken but meta. Now, Steel was another person that had quite a decent amount of changes on his kit. They've increased both his right click and his Q's cooldowns to be 2% greater. Now, this is pretty significant by endgame, because by endgame you have the whole 2-second difference, but his Q at the start of the game still has a pretty small cooldown. So I believe, despite the fact that this has happened, because they've changed it where his glitches aren't really, there's no bugs with his right click or bugs with his Q or his stuns, I believe he stays here in good pick. Furthermore, his E has been changed as well, where before it was like a two-way, no one can shoot. However, now it's become a one-way where no enemies can shoot through it, but your teammates can still shoot through it. So that's pretty good. So he stays in good pick pretty much. The next person I want to talk about is Narbash. Narbash, his mana regen per 100 points has decreased from 0.5 to 0.4. Now, this might not seem like a lot, but if you're not running something like Magician on him, this is going to be very significant. So Magician has become way more like necessary for a Narbash. In addition to that, his thunk dimensions have been reduced by almost half. Now, what this means is that the hitbox of the actual thunk has reduced, meaning it is much harder, if not by 50%, almost by 50% harder, to land an actual thunk. So, in all honesty, I think Narbash has gone down to like around Steel level. He's still very, very good, don't get me wrong. Probably, he's joined best support with Steel, basically, compared to Muriel. Now, talking about Muriel, she has been buffed. Her buff was basically that her shield increase has been by 50 at stage 1. Her E, has increased by 50 at stage 1. It's increased by 70 at stage 2. And considering near the end, it actually increases by 130 by end. Level 5, I believe. Now, her right click, has also increased projectile speed. Now, this might not seem that significant, but this means that your orbs actually get to your teammates much faster. Furthermore, if you're aiming directly at a person, a 14% increase in speed makes sure that if they're close enough, the speed will always reach them. Like, you know how normally there was an issue that if you aimed too far ahead, or if you aimed at the person, it'd just go behind them, or it would go too forward and they'd never actually catch your speed. But now it's actually much easier to land the speed. So in my opinion, Muriel has definitely been like brought up. Maybe not to you might struggle. I still think she's like underrated, but she is definitely much better. She's still playable. So I'm not sure. Honestly, this is probably the most controversial pick. So in my opinion, I think she's still down here. The only thing that can bring her up is that if she was given a shield on her right click too, like in Paragon days. But for now, in my opinion, she stays down here. Now, another person I want to talk about is Lieutenant Bellicka. Bellicka, this was the original reason I didn't put Bellicka up here in the first video. Bellicka has been brought down, which by quite a lot, honestly. Her Q, the energy power scale has reduced by 10%, and the stun has reduced as well by around 0.5 seconds by endgame, and by around 0.5 at the start as well. So it's pretty much by 0.5 no matter where. So the Void Bomb, her right click, has reduced by 40% in scaling, which is honestly huge. It went down from 140% to 100%. Her Void Drone has also decreased by scaling, so she's basically just been like nerfed scaling wise by 10%. So Bellicka, she does remain here just because of her kit and how good she is. And in my opinion, this is honestly just the perfect like place for her, because if you're a good, this is also going with Countess by the way. If you're a good Bellicka or Countess player, you can honestly carry a team in this stage, but because their skill caps are quite high, that's why I've been putting them down here. If you're not good, you can end up feeding quite hard. Now, talking about Bellicka and Countess, one other thing that has changed for them is the fact that they have actually been, their abilities weren't actually meant to go through walls. For example, Countess's Q was normally able to go through walls. So you could actually, if you could see the enemy on the other side, you could just Q to them, do your combo, Q out, and you would never die. This was very, very good around tower area. Bellicka's R was one thing that could also go through walls. Both of these have been nerfed and they've been completely eradicated from the game. So you're no longer able to do that. Furthermore, this is pretty much the whole tier list in my opinion. There's not been that huge of changes. It's just more of a balanced change, so everyone's closer together. In my opinion, if you're choosing someone to be pretty much the most broken champ right now, broken in terms of best out of everyone, not broken as in literally broken, I still think Sevarog and Countess are two of the best picks that you can do. Twin Blast is still the best ADC in my opinion, as Sparrow did not get any changes to her. Steals are pretty good. Stu and Narbash are basically similar when it comes to picking the support. However, you could just go support Bellicka and mid lane Countess, which would honestly be a very insane pick, as these three mid with Steel Jungle or something, and it would make an insanely good comp. But yeah, so other than that, last thing I do want to talk about is all the aspects did change. Not all the aspects, sorry. Quite a lot of the aspects did change, and a lot of items changed as well. Plasma Blade was nerfed. Aegis was nerfed. Beast Hunter was arguably buffed. Titan was nerfed. Templar was buffed. Warlock was buffed quite hard. I use Warlock pretty much all the time now. And Queen was also buffed. So there's been quite a lot of changes, and I highly recommend you guys looking up the differences between the aspects from before the patch 0.2 to now 0.3 patch. But yeah, that's pretty much the changes in the 0.3 patch. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you have any questions, make sure you leave them down below. I'll make sure I answer any comments. If you guys believe in any other picks that you think that should be changed on this tier list, be sure to tell me in the comments down below, because just remember, this is low-key my opinion and just something that I'm basing this off towards a little bit of statistics and more on opinion and experience within the game. But yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, like and subscribe for way more content, and peace!